All right, in this episode, we're going to be addressing what I talked about in a previous episode, which was about the fungus. And I even did a search. I think now there's definitely that fungus that's like 3 miles, but the one that was even top that is the ant colony, because I haven't seen a fungus one. I knew I saw it somewhere, but it's this ant colony. Now, if you want to go see the Kyrgyzstan video, however you pronounce that, you can go just watch that on the channel. Just search ant mega colony. But I'm interested in the sources. We would like to thank these experts. So these are some of the sources for that video. The Argentine ant. So we have some Wikipedia, some, I guess, academic papers, an academic article. Is this a research article? The evolution and persistence of cooperative social units. So what it's saying is that there are these ants which take over a large part of the world. And I guess these were the sizes that I was getting to when it came to the fungus. Because 3 square miles is impressive. I mean, that's bigger than a blue whale or anything else like that. But and then an ant colony is like a rat hole, but just not rat hole, a rabbit hole, just much smaller. So an ant mega colony takes over big parts of the world. And go watch the video and see it for yourself. And that, I guess, is the biggest rabbit hole of them all. Apparently, the amount of ants are more than the amount of people, which would make sense. Ants take up a lot less room. And you could fit a lot more of them. So we were creating some thumbnails for videos. I don't really have anything else to say about that, but that's what I wanted to just clarify that from a previous video. And also at the last part of the video, we started I went over these laptops. That's a whole subject within themselves. But I created this spreadsheet when I was doing research for my own laptop, and I wanted to be able to compare, side by side, because it's hard looking through pages of laptops, and when you're dealing with that kind of commodity, all of the parts are commoditized. There's the laptop, the chassis. Like, what does a laptop manufacturer do? They do, they put the whole package together, and they have to implement a cooling system, and then they have to, build, I guess, design the chassis and how everything's going to fit together. That's really, so it's a noble, job to be able to put it together. And then each part maker, that's what the big thing is in the tech world right now, is because, I mean, if you want to talk about a monopoly, I mean, it's like a triopoly, really, at this time, where you have this interesting relationship in the chip making world where you have chip designers and chip researchers, and then you have chip manufacturers. And by chips, I mean semiconductors, silicone chips. So the three main designers that you have, at least the ones that are prevalent, are NVIDIA for graphics cards, AMD for graphics cards and CPUs, and Intel, which are known mainly for CPUs and are just looking to branch more into the GPU market. Now, Intel have been using for many years now what is called an iGPU, or an integrated processing graphic processing unit, and some other components which specialize in certain functions. Like, there's this thing on Intel called the Intel Video Sync, which purportedly, allegedly, and you can watch plenty of tech YouTuber channels that will show you the benchmarks, One of the ones I just saw, it's a video that came out. Might as well give him a shout out. You know, who cares? Is this channel Benji Kaiser? Benji Kaiser. So just a couple days ago, he did a great video on that's comparing the 2020 Acer Predator Helios 300 versus the Asus TUF A15. So I've been waiting for a video like this, and maybe somebody else has done it. This is just the one I've found first, because these laptops are very similar in price and performance, and each one has their own pros and cons. So basically, through his video, he goes through the pros of the Acer Predator Helios 300, which is the laptop. This laptop that you see in front of me here is the aluminum backside. This backside here is aluminum, and the keyboard deck is aluminum. Based on his test, that can look at the screen. I don't have a tester for the screen, so based on the test for the screen, it has a much higher color accuracy. Now, in my review of this laptop does have, this specific model has a small amount of pixels towards the middle of it, which are bleeding through. They're not dead pixels, but they're not fully, there's a name, but they're not dead. They're just like the core component, because I put a magnifying glass to it, was that the green subpixel is remaining on when it should be off. So if you have a black screen, you're gonna see the green subpixel. I don't know what level it's at, but it's kind of staying out of level, and it's hard to see in bright scenes. So if something's actually supposed to be green, it would be hard to see. It's really just on dark surfaces. And there's ghosting. You could see the light in dark scenes, you know, particularly towards the bottom left corner of the screen and the bottom right, mainly the bottom right. So if you can see my cursor around here on a dark screen is where the little, you know, it's like a little blob that may take up like that much space. I can't really see it here, but then there is like some ghosting patterns that, depending on your lighting conditions, will vary. But other than that, it's a solid monitor. It has the 144 refresh rate, and the color accuracy appears to be good based on his video and him running the test. And that's against the A15. So in the last video, because the Asus, the first laptop that I found when I started looking for a laptop was this Asus TUF. And we see the link here. Let's see how much this is running for now. Ooh, so this is running for $9.99. So this gives us some interesting. Whoa. Let's just call that $9.99. So the prices are always fluctuating. Now, why this is $9.99 now, I can imagine, is because of the model of laptop. So this was the first laptop I found, and it had gone above $9.99, but this is the price I first saw it. So it met my budget completely. And what made it really appealing was that it had the RTX 2060. Now, I know everybody has their gripes with the RTX, you know, if you're like an enthusiast or someone who's in it, but I wasn't personally in it. I didn't have a vested interest. I could care less. I know now the NVIDIA branding has touched me, because it's seen as the premium one. I have an AMD card in a desktop now, and I mean, it works fine. It can run games fine. It can run video editing tasks and things fine right now. There's a separate issue where it's randomly freezing, but it may not be the graphics card. I'm not sure how to diagnose it, but you'll be using it, and then it used to be under gaming loads, but then under, it'll just be randomly. It'll be working fine for hours. It stays on overnight doing mining and things like that, but not Bitcoin mining, but like scraping from Google, and it'll work for days. But then sometimes you'll be scrolling down a list on a website and it'll turn off. Now that could be the power supply unit. It is older, so I don't know. But it seemed like a graphic card error, because sometimes the fix require going to the integrated GPU, which is what we were talking about on the Intel platform. and it's 10 minutes. So tune into the next video to continue this talk.